Have you ever wondered what Bitcoin halving is? It's a term you've likely come across if you've dabbled in the cryptocurrency world or have been following the meteoric rise of Bitcoin. But what does it mean, and why is it so significant? To understand Bitcoin halving, we must first acquaint ourselves with the concept of Bitcoin mining. Picture a digital gold mine where powerful computers solve complex mathematical problems to unearth Bitcoins. This process is integral to the Bitcoin ecosystem, not just for the creation of new Bitcoins but also for the verification and recording of Bitcoin transactions on the blockchain. Now imagine that every 4 years, the amount of gold that these digital miners can extract from this mine is cut in half. This is Bitcoin halving in its essence. It's an event that happens approximately every 4 years or after 210,000 blocks have been mined. Bitcoin halving is a fundamental part of the Bitcoin protocol, designed by the mysterious figure known as Satoshi Nakamoto. It's a mechanism to control the supply of new Bitcoins into circulation, ensuring that the total number of Bitcoins that will ever exist is capped at 21 million. This scarcity is one of the reasons why Bitcoin has been compared to gold. Much like the precious metal, there's a limited supply of Bitcoin that can be mined. And as we've seen with gold, a limited supply can lead to an increase in value when demand is high. But why does Bitcoin halving occur? The simple answer is to maintain Bitcoin's value. By halving the number of new Bitcoins miners can earn, the scarcity of Bitcoin increases. This can lead to an increase in the price of Bitcoin, as supply becomes more limited and demand remains strong. So Bitcoin halving is quite an event in the crypto world, but how does it work exactly? Let's delve into it. To understand Bitcoin halving, we first need to understand Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining, in its simplest form, is the process of adding new transactions to the Bitcoin blockchain. This process involves complex mathematical calculations that require significant computational power. Miners, the individuals or entities who perform these calculations, play an essential role in the Bitcoin ecosystem. They not only validate and record transactions, but also maintain the network security. So, picture a vast digital landscape bustling with miners, each racing to solve a complex mathematical puzzle. The first to solve the puzzle gets to add a new block of transactions to the blockchain. But this isn't just a game of speed and brainpower. There's a reward at stake. This brings us to the concept of block rewards. In the early days of Bitcoin, a miner who successfully added a block to the blockchain would receive 50 Bitcoins. This incentivized miners to participate in the network, driving its growth and security. Now you might be wondering, 50 Bitcoins for solving a puzzle? That seems like a lot. Well, yes and no. While it's true that the block reward was initially set at 50 Bitcoins, this amount doesn't stay constant. It's designed to decrease over time. And this is where Bitcoin halving comes into play. Every 210,000 blocks, approximately every 4 years, the Bitcoin network undergoes an event known as halving. During this event, the block reward given to miners is cut in half. So, from 50 Bitcoins it dropped to 25 in the first halving event in 2012, then to 12.5 in 2016 and so on. This mechanism ensures that the total supply of Bitcoin will never exceed 21 million coins. It's a built-in measure against inflation and one of the key factors distinguishing Bitcoin from traditional fiat currencies. Now that we understand mining and block rewards, we can see where halving comes into the picture. So, where does halving fit into this mining process? To answer this, we need to dive into the heart of Bitcoin's design. The creators of Bitcoin built it in such a way that the rewards for mining would decrease over time. This happens at a very specific interval, every 210,000 blocks. In real-world time, that's roughly every 4 years. This is the event known as Bitcoin halving. Now, why is it called halving? Well, it's quite literal. Every time we hit the 210,000 block milestone, the reward for mining a new block is cut in half. So, if the reward before the halving event was 12.5 Bitcoins, after the halving, it would be 6.25 Bitcoins. It's a simple, yet powerful mechanism to control the number of new Bitcoins entering the market, as well as to extend the lifespan of the mining process. But halving isn't just about mathematics or economics, it's also a cultural event in the Bitcoin community. When a halving is approaching, you'll see the term halving buzzing around in forums, social media, and news articles. Much like the countdown to New Year's Eve, the countdown to the halving generates a lot of excitement and speculation. But it's not just fun and games. Bitcoin halving has a real impact on the miners, the people who are dedicating their time, resources, and energy to keep the Bitcoin network running. With each halving, the reward for their hard work gets smaller and smaller, This means that only the most efficient miners, those with access to cheap electricity and powerful equipment, will be able to keep mining profitably. And there you have it. Every 4 years, the Bitcoin network undergoes a halving event, reducing the reward for mining new blocks by half. It's a fundamental aspect of Bitcoin's design, a combination of mathematics, economics, and community culture. That's the basic mechanism of Bitcoin halving. But what does it mean for Bitcoin and the people who mine it? Stay tuned to find out. The effects of Bitcoin halving can be quite significant. Let's start with the miners. Bitcoin halving directly impacts them because it reduces the reward they receive for mining new blocks. This can discourage miners, especially those with high operating costs. Yet the ones who manage to stay afloat can potentially reap greater rewards if the price of Bitcoin increases. Now, why would the price increase? Well, it's all about supply and demand. When the halving event occurs, the rate at which new Bitcoins are created is cut in half. This means the overall supply of Bitcoin is reduced, making it more scarce. If demand remains constant or increases, this scarcity could potentially drive up the price of Bitcoin. However, it's important to note that this isn't a guarantee. The crypto market is influenced by a multitude of factors, and Bitcoin's price is notoriously volatile. Still, historically, the price of Bitcoin has tended to increase following halving events. On to inflation. Bitcoin was designed with a built-in deflationary aspect. The halving event is a key part of this. By slowing the rate at which new Bitcoins are created, halving helps to curb inflation. This is in stark contrast to traditional fiat currencies, which can be printed at will by governments, leading to inflation. So what does this all mean? Bitcoin halving is an integral part of the cryptocurrency's design. It's a mechanism that helps control the supply of Bitcoin, making it more scarce over time. It can impact miners and potentially influence Bitcoin's price. But perhaps most significantly, it's a tool for managing inflation, ensuring that the value of Bitcoin isn't diluted over time. To put it simply, Bitcoin halving serves to preserve the value of Bitcoin in the long run. It's a built-in safeguard against inflation and a potential catalyst for price appreciation. So, Bitcoin halving is a mechanism that ensures the longevity of Bitcoin by controlling its supply and potentially boosting its price. So, we've come a long way from asking, what is Bitcoin halving? We've journeyed through the intricate world of Bitcoin, delving into the heart of its mechanics. We've discovered that Bitcoin halving is an essential part of the cryptocurrency's system, a built-in mechanism designed to control the number of Bitcoins in circulation. It's an ingenious process that happens once every 210,000 blocks, roughly every 4 years, which cuts the block rewards in half, maintaining the scarcity and value of Bitcoin. We've learned about Bitcoin mining, a computational process that verifies Bitcoin transactions and adds them to the public ledger, known as the blockchain. Miners are rewarded with Bitcoins for their efforts, and this is where the concept of block rewards comes in. Initially, the block reward was 50 Bitcoins, but with each halving event, this number gets cut in half. Today, the block reward is a fraction of what it once was, a testament to the multiple halvings that have taken place. We've also uncovered how and when Bitcoin halving occurs. The countdown to the next halving event is always ticking, and when the 210,000th block is mined, the reward is halved. It's a momentous event in the Bitcoin community, often leading to speculation and anticipation about the potential impact on Bitcoin's value. Speaking of impact, we've examined the potential effects of Bitcoin halving. While the immediate consequence is a decrease in the block rewards for miners, the long-term effects are more speculative. Some believe halving events can trigger a rise in Bitcoin's price due to the reduced supply. However, it's important to remember that many factors can influence Bitcoin's value. And there you have it. A closer look at the intriguing process of Bitcoin halving. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep understanding the fascinating world of Bitcoin.